I've got some buttons that kind of disappeared on me. Okay, muy bien. Y buenas noches. ¿Cómo están ustedes hoy?
Bien, gracias.
Bien, bien.
Bien. Oh,
Ok. Sí, más o menos regular. Así, sí, sí, regular. Bueno, vamos a conversar. I had a couple of questions. If you, I want to say something at the start because I had a couple people who emailed me with questions. If you have questions about anything you want to do tonight, you should go ahead and ask that. This is what you paid for. You got a question, I'm not going to answer it. Really? No, creo que no. I think not. Yeah. Anytime you've got a question about, you're not sure how to say something, you're not sure why something was phrased a certain way, I always want you to insert it. And I guarantee the questions that came in, there will be an appropriate moment for you to ask and always ask away. Always ask a question. My morning session this week, para que sepan, so that you guys know, I had 2 questions which totally went off on a tangent from what I planned, but obviously it was stuff that stumped a couple of people who are actually really quite good. Yeah, they're doing really well. And these things stumped them. And they were kind of basic things, but I said, then we need to take time to address that because for those people, it was like that missing puzzle piece. That puzzle piece that the kid shoves off the table and nobody knows where it went to. The puzzle piece that the dog ate, that, that one that got chewed. When that's missing, there's something wrong with the picture. So you should always ask. Never be afraid. Is it appropriate?
Yeah.
Of course it's appropriate. You're not asking me how much toilet paper do you use in a year. You're asking something about Spanish. You should ask. Vale, bueno. Okay, a ver. But I do want to start with a little bit of reading so that people do get a chance to practice. So we're going to take our senderismo thing. Necesito un poquito de, sí, ayuda. I do need a little help figuring out exactly where we left off. I should have left a marker, but I did not do it. Let me put it on the share screen. I want to give people a little chance to read just a couple of sentences each. And no tengan miedo. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to read aloud because, you take it nice and slow. You shouldn't read like the motor mouth. Blah, 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 blah. No, it shouldn't be like that. You should do it to enunciate and, practice that. Encuentra tu sendero, no. Empaca el equipo. Ese lugar, is this where we left off?
no recuerdo.
Oh, no.
Es posible.
Oh.
No importa.
Hablamos de mapas, ¿no? La semana pasada. Ok. A ver. Si no hay nadie que sepa, que recuerde, if there's nobody who remembers, I will make an executive decision. Aquí. Si vas a probar aquí. Si vas a probar algo más desafiante. Hablaban de escoger, de decidir en un sendero. They were talking about deciding on an appropriate place, ¿sí? Y dice aquí, yo voy a empezar aquí. Si vas a probar algo más desafiante, if you're going to try something more challenging, desafiante. Think of defying, yeah, desafiante. Busca un sendero con varias rutas de regreso. Look for a trail with several return routes. En caso de que luego quieras moderar tus ambiciones, in case later on you might want to moderate your ambitions or let's say downsize what you originally planned. Yeah. Modify what you originally planned. infórmate sobre la longitud del sendero y las condiciones del terreno para calcular cuánto tardarás en recorrerlo. Inform yourself, get informed, be in the know about the longitude, the location, right, of the trail and the terrain conditions to calculate how long you will take. Tardarás comes from tarde, how long you will take to do something, yeah? And in this case, it's you will take to tour it, go through it. O usar una calculadora en Internet. Recuerda sumar los descansos y toma en cuenta el clima. Bien, yeah, take rests and take weather into account. Empaque el equipo adecuado. Ok. Bien. Un voluntario, por favor. Bien, aquí. ¿Quién quiere leer esta noche? Vamos. ¿Quién quiere leer? Sí, Pat, ¿quieres? Oh, but you have to take yourself off of mute.
Which hat?
Oh, I was going to. Is that okay, Pat?
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Oh, las dos, sí. Sí, lo siento, las dos.
Yeah. La clave para una excursión relajada es estar lo más preparado posible ante lo desconocido. Cada senderista debe cargar con 10 artículos esenciales, entre ellos algo de comer y beber, suministros básicos de primeros auxilios, un mapa, un brújula y equipo para lluvia, todo dentro de una mochila con soporte lumbar, correas anchas para las hombros y cinturón ajustable.
Ajustable. Sí,
Clear.
muy bien.
Yeah,
Ajustable.
adjustable.
So the
You
only little
pronounce the
tweaks we're gonna,
J.
the only little tweaks we're going to take there. So be aware of, and words like esenciales. We want to say sh. Your
Oh.
brain just wants to say sh. Okay, and you won't be the only person whose
Oh,
brain wants to do that. Lots of people's brains, yeah. Porque tenemos en inglés la palabra essential, pero en español es esencial,
Okay.
esencial, ¿sí?
Esenciales.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to
Y-
read off the screen. Esenciales. It's a
Sí,
little-
esencial. Voy a engrandecer esto un poquito más. Mejor. Sí, la palabra realmente de verdad difícil aquí es auxilio. ¡Wow! Auxilio es difícil de pronunciar. Auxilio. Aquí sí, primeros auxilios quiere decir first aid. Sí, first aid. La clave aquí es key. This is the word used for key when it means an important thing, that one important thing, that kind of key, not the thing that fits in your door. The key for a relaxed outing, excursion, right? Hike, is being the most prepared possible. Before, meaning facing the unknown, lo desconocido, the unknown, because that's what it is when you go out into nature. See, each hiker ought to pack away 10 essential items, among them something to eat and drink, first aid kit, right? A map, a compass, equipment for rain, meaning, whatever it is that you use to cover yourself, of course, and all inside a backpack, mochila, backpack with lumbar support. Sí, fácil. Correas anchas, correos, mail. This is not mail. It is not correo. It's correas. Correas anchas para los hombros, yeah, straps that are wide for your shoulders, y un cinturón, yeah, an adjustable belt, yeah, cinturón belt, ¿ok? Bien, vale, y aquí, agua, 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 ¿verdad? Ok, a ver, Pat,
Me, Pat?
otra,
Okay.
sí, ¿quieres?
Okay. Pero el artículo más importante es el calzado, debido a que tus pies son literalmente tu base. No tienes que invertir en zapatos especiales para senderismo, pero si necesitas zapatos que te aportan estabilidad, protección y tracción, sobre todo si el sendero es rosco, escarpado o lodoso.
Bien, bien. And that one word there, rocoso, 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 rocoso. You're missing one little syllable there. So rocoso, but really good. Good to know. Oh, you got rid of your shun. Pero, no shun. Protección, sí, tracción. Muy bien, bien. El calzado, sí. Calzado quiere decir footwear en general, sí. The most important article is footwear. So that could refer even to socks. You know, it's anything that goes on your foot. In this case, that word calzado. Because of, debido a, owing to, meaning because of, because your feet are literally your base, okay? You don't have to invest. That word invertir. Invertir sí es una palabra importante. Podemos invertir dinero y podemos invertir tiempo, podemos invertir esfuerzas, bien. Invertir es invest, whether it's figurative or literally money, lo que sea. Sí, you don't have to invest in special hiking shoes. And that pero sí necesitas means but you really do need, right? That sí necesitas doesn't mean yes you need. It means you do need. We would include the word do in there where they plug in the C. You do need shoes that afford you stability, protection, traction, sobre todo, above all, especially above all, if the path or the trail is rocky, steep, or lodoso, muddy. Bien, 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 bien. Ok, vale. ¿Alguien más? ¿Quién quiere leer aquí? Es fácil, es breve, es breve. Bueno, Karen, sí, ¿quieres?
La mayoría de las lesiones físicas en el sendero no son errores de entrenamiento, sino el resultado de estar en la naturaleza. Los zapatos buenos y los bastones de senderismo ofrecen estabilidad adicional.
Eso, sí, muy bien. So the majority of, and we do have a word lesions, but this is more general word. Injuries, yeah. The majority, yeah, most, we would say most injuries. Literally, it is the majority of injuries, but we would say most injuries. La mayoría de las lesiones físicas, most physical injuries on the trail are not errors or mistakes of training, but rather that, here's our sino, but rather the result of being out in nature. Good shoes and hiking poles offer additional stability. Okay. Mantenerse a salvo, mantenerse, literalmente maintain yourself. Pero en inglés, keep, o stay. Keep safe, stay safe, mantenerse. Mantenerse a salvo, aquí. Bueno, ¿quién quiere leer? Un voluntario, un voluntario. Juanita, sí.
Okay, el senderismo conlleva algunos riesgos, pero
Sí.
unas cuantas precauciones pueden ayudar a garantizar que regreses sano y salvo. Si eres senderista nuevo, ve acompañado de un amigo o un grupo local hasta que tengas más experiencia.
Sí, bien, bien, bueno. And, you know, some of these words wind up being tough because these words like this that have two vowels next to each other, we in techie grammar speak, we call those diphthongs. And those are meant to be pushed together and become like one sound. So not riesgos, but riesgos. The tougher one is this one because we've got that oo sound, ow, ow, ow. It winds up sounding like a W, ow. See, precauciones, precauciones. Aquí, that is a legitimately tough one to pronounce. Precauciones, okay? Hiking brings with it. Llevar means to bring, to take, to move something from one place to another. And when we put a con, a with, it becomes bring with it. Hiking brings with it some risks, but a few precautions can help guarantee that you may come back safe and sound. There's a safe and sound phrase. Sano y salvo. Sano y salvo is safe and sound. If you're a new hiker, go along with, literalmente go accompanied by, pero en inglés, we would say go along with. Go along with a friend or a local group until you might have more experience. Hasta que, until you might have, until it has not yet happened, if we're saying until. Yeah. Until you might have. And that's why that little word goes into tengas, because you don't have enough experience now, but at some point you will, we hope, maybe. And because we don't know for sure yet, it's until. Okay. And anything that hasn't happened yet that we're not sure of, it goes into that funky thing we could know as subjunctive. And that's why tengas pops up. Okay. And here we've got some commands coming up, some things that are go do it words, the go do it words. Bien, ¿quién quiere leer aquí? Who would like to read this? Bueno, sí, Jody. Oh, and you're on mute. Perdón.
Okay. Acostumbrate a decirle al menos a una persona dónde estarás y avísale cuando regreses. Deja una nota en el tablero de tu auto con la ruta que tomarás, de tal modo que si no vuelves antes del atardecer, los guardabosques sepan dónde encontrarte.
Yeah, see, we had a whole bunch of funny little commands and subjunctive that snuck into this one, yeah? And some very long words. And boy, this first word was a real stinker and hard to pronounce. And right away we see an accent mark. And that means we want to punch the place where it's got the accent mark. So when you come across a word like this, which is a really legitimately challenging word because it's so long, break it into parts. Always. And I would say isolate where that accent mark is, because you know you gotta go for the gusto on that syllable. So we've got Acostúmbrate. Acostúmbrate. ¿Sí? Bien. Acostúmbrate.
I have a question
Sí, sí.
about that pronunciation, because what I'm hearing is acostumbrate.
Acostúmbrate.
So the A is by itself, and then the CO, and then the STUM. Brate, C.
If
That's
you
what-
were to really break it apart as one is supposed to properly, because syllabication in Spanish actually works as a little bit differently than English in a lot of, it would be acostúmbrate. Acostúmbrate. And the verb that comes from is acostumbrarse,
Uh-huh.
to get used to get accustomed to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Acostum-
And that's what it's telling you, saying, get used to
Acostum-
doing this next thing. Acostúmbrate. And that te is added on at the end because it's a reflexive. And with a reflexive command, when we say go do it, you have to tag that te pronoun. You have to tag it onto the end as if it were all one word.
Oh,
Yeah, because the go do it commands, if they're reflexive, we have to make a little caboose with the te pronoun, and we got to slap it on the end. Yeah, usually reflexive verbs, if they're used like in a regular vanilla sentence, it's, me siento. Te levantas, like that. But when we may have a command, we've got to slap the te onto the end of that. Acostúmbrate. Okay. See? Bien. Get used to telling at least one person where you will be. And advise them, let them know. Okay. Avisar means to advise somebody. Let them know when you might return. When you might. We're not talking about a habit when. We're talking about the future when. A future when is going to use this pesky subjunctive, again, not regresas, but regreses. Okay. Whenever you might return, because we don't know, you may never come back. We don't know if you're coming back or not. Yeah. Cuando regreses. Leave a note on the dashboard of your car with the route that you will probably take, so that, de tal modo que means so that. And here's a nice conector. This is a connector that was not used in your recent video, but it's a connector nonetheless. It's tagging on as new part of a new clause, a mini sentence attached to a sentence, so that, why do you leave the note behind? So that if you don't come back before atardecer, before it gets late, right? Tarde is afternoon, it's late. When it gets late, somebody will know where to find you. What do you think the guardabosques is?
Forest Rangers.
Yeah, see. This is one of those, what do we call that? A portmanteau? Something like that. Yeah, when we take two words and we smash them together, we make one great big, the Germans do this all the time, really enough to make you crazy. But guarda bosques, guard the forests. That means they're the rangers. Okay, there you go. The forest rangers, guardabosques, so that they might know where to find you. Okay, and again, that's a hypothetical, which is why that stinky subjunctive comes up. Okay, por último, y aquí. Well, we're going to join these two together. ¿Quién quiere leer aquí? Alguien. Sí, Cindy, okay, vale.
okay. por último, para evitar lesiones, no te esfuerces
Sí, esfuerces.
demasiado, ni vayas muy rápido por los senderos más difíciles.
Difíciles.
Yes. Recuerda, lo importante es poder ver las vistas y oler las flores.
Sí.
Baja el ritmo y admira el paisaje.
Paisaje.
Escucha el cantar de las aves. Solo ocúpate
Ocúpate, sí.
de estar presente en la naturaleza.
Sí, bien. Bueno, por último, finally, to avoid injuries, don't exert yourself, right? Don't overexert. Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't exert yourself too much or don't overexert, nor should you go super fast, yeah, along the hardest routes. See, the hardest trails. And now they have a single command, which is a go do it command. Remember, recuerda, remember, the most important thing. And there is a little combination you should keep in your back pocket. It's where in English we add the word thing. But in Spanish, you won't see the word thing at all. You'll see the word lo with a description. Lo with a description is the description thing, right? The important thing is being able to see the views and smell the flowers. Oler. Smell the flowers. Oler, see? Baje el ritmo, lower the rhythm, yeah? And admire the landscape. Paisaje es landscape, see? Escucha, listen to the birds' songs. The singing of the birds, see? El cantar de las aves is singing of the birds. And aves is, of course, the higher level word than pájaro, yeah? We have the English word avian, or even aviation, yeah? Relates to flying. And that comes from the same thing that aves comes from. It's like a more scientific word for pájaro, bird, okay? Solo ocúpate. Just keep your mind on, just occupy yourself with, so just pay attention to being present in nature. Una idea budista. Sí, bien, okay? Vale. This little chunk here is a good one to know. Lo importante, the important thing, but it could change to lo impresionante, the impressive thing. Lo difícil, the difficult thing. Lo fácil, the easy thing. See, we can combine it with any kind of description. Well, unless you have a color, the blue thing. No, it wouldn't be that. They do have a way of saying that, but it would be something else. Okay, but most adjectives can use that lo, but in English, when we translate that, it would be with the word thing after it. See, por ejemplo, lo difícil es cortar todos los ingredientes. The hard thing is cutting up all the ingredients. ¿Sí? Lo interesante es de viajar en México es probar la comida. The interesting thing is trying all the food out. Yeah, see? O, por ejemplo, que lo bueno, the good thing. Sí, lo bueno de la lluvia es, es el sonido de la lluvia, okay? The sound of the rain, yeah, is important. So, bien, okay, vale. Bueno, práctica con pronunciación, bien, and we've finished that up, so we've got that one off our plate. Y adelante. Adelante, adelante. What I want to start off with first, because what we're going to do is eventually go to our questions that are kind of related to the two videos, and I want you to have time to speak in small groups about those. So we're going to do those in just a few minutes. But before we do those, I want to see if you guys have any questions that puzzled you or turns of phrase or whatever about the two videos that you watched, because often there's a little question. We have this thing about no voy a las rebajas. I don't go to sales. Clearances, lo que sea, ¿sí? Bien. And that one, even if you turn on the subtitles, there could be a couple of things that, although he speaks pretty slowly, that was the benefit. He speaks slowly for an audience that works harder to understand. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Any question about that video? Like an odd word usage or anything that didn't make sense?
Blanca for money?
Oh, es jerga. That's slang. That's a slang term. Like dough. Do you have enough dough?
Okay,
Yeah.
so Blanca.
Yeah.
Is that used elsewhere in the Spanish-speaking world other than in Spain?
Qué buena pregunta. No estoy segura. Tengo que investigar eso. I do
Okay.
need to check that out a little bit more. There are a lot of different words for money in different places. Like a lot of places use lana, which is technically wool. Yeah. Why would you? Yeah, a lot of places in Mexico and Latin America, you'll hear people use lana for money. And it's like us saying, hey, you got enough dough. Bien. You know, it really depends on where you are. Some of those slang words can be very, very regional, and I'll have to check that out. Esteban, gracias. Thank you.
I'm crossing it
Okay.
off.
Yeah. I think in Latin America, less so. That, you know, lana you hear a lot on this side of the pond. Bien. Buena pregunta.
Yeah, he was loaded all throughout little idiomatic expressions.
He does, yeah, he does a lot of idiomatic expressions, and he does that because he knows people are going to hear him.
Mhm.
He knows people are going to hear those words pop out of people's mouth, and they'll be going, huh? Yeah.
Okay, the
So-
mosquito cojones.
Ah,
That
was
one I'm
not
going,
good.
what?
That
What?
was not good.
yeah. Well, you know, yeah. Male anatomy, cojones. Yeah.
Maybe there was some other meaning. I'm kind of going, huh?
Yeah.
right.
I think that's where he's talking about, yeah, the pesky
Yeah,
person. I
mostly.
need to,
Yeah.
¿dónde está? I think he puts it up.
Yeah, no, he had a whole lot on that, and I'm kind of going, is there more to this than I'm getting?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I will tell you, I'm going to say this about Spaniards for darn sure. I wouldn't say it about, you know, everybody in Latin America, but you know, the Spaniards in particular are an irreverent lot. That is a kind of a nice way of putting it, but you know, I'm trying to find the exact place. You understood what he meant by that, right, Pat?
Well, I knew what the words meant. I'm going, though, is there some meaning behind this?
There kind of
No.
is. He's being just very
Obnoxious?
slightly vulgar,
Okay, all
I would
right.
say. But you know, sometimes things that to the American ear would sound highly vulgar are
Yeah.
like big
Well,
deal, you know.
like
to the-
Blanta it was like, oh, that meant money, you know?
Yeah,
It wasn't something
Yeah.
white.
Plata is the other slang for money, and plata you hear a lot in a lot of places
Yeah.
too. Lana and plata, those are probably the two. I would say Latin American side, you're going to hear lana y plata. You're going to hear those two for money as slang words for money.
That's,
dinero.
well, that's what I thought the cajone mosquito thing, maybe there was another meaning.
Yeah, no, it's you know he's
I got
getting
it
at
then.
the pesky side of things. Yeah, see.
Okay.
Okay, bueno. Jody, did you have a hand up for a question? See.
Yeah, were there some words that when I tried to look up what they meant, they looked like they were swear words, like
Oh, probably.
hoder? When I
Oh
looked it up,
God,
it
yeah,
said
that's a bad
fuck.
one. Okay,
Is that fuck?
yeah, it's
Is
it's
that
a
the
big F
verb,
bomb.
to fuck?
You know, there are two. There are different F bombs in different places.
Okay.
But in Spain, that's a very fave F bomb. But you know, even though like you, well, okay, you would say that amongst people you know well,
Right.
but not amongst people like you don't walk up to some guy behind the counter
No.
and yeah and say that. But to be very honest, I mean, I could never use that word in a high school setting. Oh my God, fired immediately. Yeah.
Sure.
But in Spain, now Mexico, that will not be the favorite F bomb, but in Spain, it's a very favored word. But you know what? I'll be very honest with you. Women use it. People use it a lot out of frustration, more so, I think, than we as English speakers use an F bomb. And very nice people will use the F bomb. To be very, I mean,
But
it's
don't the Mexicans, they have their favorite word they use all the time, and it's completely different meaning. And
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they just use it. It's known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are some things that are swear words in one country, but not another. So you always have to be a little careful. But don't like be like, you know, jaw hanging all open and agape in horror if you hear someone say that word, because, you know, if they drop their keys or whatever, people will just blurt that out. See, Esteban.
See, I was talking with my friend the other day, and I couldn't think of the word. We were talking about politicians, how they screw us. And he said, joder. And I went, what?
Yeah.
Because I think of it.
But you know, yeah, that word in English is a little nicer. It does, you know, like the politicians or whatever are screwing us is not as strong as, you know, yeah, that other word. So, yeah. But even then, yeah. So, yeah, don't let your jaw hang down to your knees in horror. But they kind of, well, you know, they're frustrated, so it just comes out, and this is what happens, and life goes on. Okay, vale. Bueno, hay otra pregunta. Any other question here?
Marilyn, if you're going
Susana.
to talk about all these swear words in different countries, you have to tell us what they are. So if we hear them,
Oh,
we know because you know, if somebody said whatever the word in Mexican is to me, I'd probably just smile at them thinking, I don't know. what you're saying."
yeah, see.
It's a
I
new
should
way
do
of
that.
hello, right?
I should
Yeah.
do that sometime, maybe perhaps off recording time. I
Okay,
would do
okay.
that, yes.
I see where you're going. Okay. No,
Sometimes-
no es problema.
Here is what I will say about that. One should be aware this language is used, and except for, I would say, the very strongest, you know, people are going to say things because they get frustrated over bad stuff that happens to them, you know, or even just the minor irritations of life. So it's good to know. But, you know, as a visitor who wants to be polite, not to use that ourselves, is what I used to tell kids. Some kids say, so-and-so said this to me on the soccer field. And I was like, that wasn't nice. And they, Senora, can I hit them? Well, I can't tell you that, but you know, was that intended with good feelings? But no, it wasn't. That person was like being in your face, just para que sepan, so that you guys know. Okay. Vale, bueno.
Hasta
Ah,
los calzoncillos, ¿eh?
y aquí el otro vídeo es un poquito más obvio porque tienen subtítulos por todas partes. So the interesting thing about this second video is that actually you have people speaking at a much more normal rate, much more normal rate. So it sounds faster than the first one. I think a little less slang, but you know, in the Que Te Motiva video, definitely interviewing people on the street. It's good for you to hear that cadence, as this is a normal rate for people to speak. And you notice also that people speak a lot of times in shortened phrases, not necessarily a long sentence. Yeah. So para que sepan, so that you guys know. You know, we do try to form nice, proper sentences, but a lot of times when you're answering a question, you may answer with what we call a fragment, meaning a phrase instead of an entire sentence. And that is perfectly okay because people do that in all languages. So, okay. Vale. Bien. Entonces, adelante, adelante. I want to start off with this segment here for you to use in smaller groups to discuss. Sí, perdón. Sí, Esteban.
One
Dime.
item, the second video,
Mhm.
I noticed out in the street, they had signs and the signage. English was the first language, and I believe it was Castilian that was second.
Yeah.
And when we were in Barcelona in the airport years back, the first language was Castilian, the second language of all things was English, and third language, because they hate being part of Spain, was Spanish.
Ah,
And I find that to be very irritating. That's just me.
okay. What, with the subtitles?
No. This was signage in the street.
Okay, porque es Barcelona, sí. Yes. Sí, eso. Okay. Barcelona es un poquito diferente. Barcelona está en Cataluña.
Sí.
Y muchas veces hay muchos letreros en las calles con español y con catalán. So depending on what parts of Spain you go to in particular, you go to some other cities, you'll see lots of signs with Basque and Spanish, both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a thing. And, you know, Catalan, well, for many people who live there, that is their favorite language. That is their first language. And Spanish is kind of imposed upon them government-wise, although they're allowed to do a lot of their legal stuff in Catalunya in Catalan, which years ago they were not allowed to do. So, así es. Okay. Bien. Okay.
Hey, Marilyn,
Sí.
I got a quick question, and now I'm not even sure which video it is, but the phrase "a ti he gusta." Now I understand that "ti" and "te" are pronouns,
Sí.
and one is I think an indirect pronoun, another one is a direct pronoun, but that still doesn't help me with how do they get a ti te gusta?
A ti te gusta.
Yeah,
Sí.
yeah.
Okay.
Explain
A
it to me.
a ti te gusta is just emphatic. It is perfectly correct to say just te gusta. You like. Or it's pleasing to you, técnicamente, pero sí, a ti te gusta. A ti is just emphatic. Oh, you like. A ti te gusta just makes it puffs it up. It makes it emphatic. That's all. The a ti is kind of a little hangnail. It's icing on the cake. It doesn't have to be there. Somebody just felt like putting it there. So
Okay.
in other words, somebody can say, a mí me gusta. A mí me gusta el chocolate. I like chocolate.
Okay, so
I like chocolate.
it really doesn't have anything to do with the indirect and the direct.
Well, the te there is technically an indirect. The a ti is just a little prepositional phrase.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
And sometimes that with a pronoun can be important. If I'm pointing to a group of kids, I'm pointing to a group. There are two girls and a guy, and I say, a él le gusta la hamburguesa. He likes the hamburger. If I just said le gusta, it could mean him, the girl next to him, the girl next to her. And the a él is defining who I mean by le gusta, right? So sometimes an a with a name next to it is a clarifier. And le is a fuzzy pronoun. It can mean many different people. And les is a fuzzy pronoun and can mean many different people. So often an a phrase will be used with le or les. So, por ejemplo, a mi esposo le gusta caminar. A mi esposo le gusta caminar. I am just really making clear that the le is talking about esposo, a guy, that particular guy. But I could say, a ti te gusta caminar. And I'm just being emphatic. The a ti is icing on the cake. I could leave it alone, get rid of it, and just say te gusta. And it's perfectly correct. The a ti te gusta is just extra.
I see. Uh-huh.
A mí me gusta is just extra. It can be me gusta. A mí me gusta leer. A mí me gusta leer. Wow, I like reading. And you know, in English, you might say, I like that. And you do the I and you punch it. That's the a mí. That's all.
Okay.
Bien?
Thank you. Sí,
Vale.
gracias.
De nada, de nada. Okay. Algo más? Anything else that I omitted, left off, didn't see a hand up? Lo que sea, whatever it might be. Okay. Quiero que ustedes practiquen un poquito aquí y quiero que ustedes hablan en grupos más pequeños para practicar y hablar un poquito. Y quiero que ustedes practiquen solamente las 3 primeras preguntas aquí, ¿sí? De rebajas. ¿Buscas rebajas en las tiendas o no? Are you a sale shopper or not? Buscas, do you look for? And notice there is no busco para or buscas por. It's just buscas. The for idea is built into that verb, so we don't use any extra words. See, buscas rebajas en las tiendas o no? And there, I added these in because some people in the morning had questions. You may hear the idea of a sale referred to with any of these 3 combinations of words, and there are probably even more. I just didn't thought of them off the top of my head. Rebajas, estar en oferta, yeah, be on offer, which means something's on sale, o descuento. Sí, descuento, discount. That one es obvio, sí, descuenta. Ok. La segunda pregunta es, ¿hay una tienda que ofrezca rebajas especiales? Is there some kind of store that might offer really special deals? Yeah. Special reductions. Bien. Y es más fácil cambiar algo que no te gusta o que no te sirve por internet. Uno por internet o en persona. ¿Y por qué? Vale, bien. You'll see those when you go into the little rooms, so don't feel like you have to scribble this stuff down. No, 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 no. Ah, bien, y momentito. Vale, vamos a ver, momentito. I need to make sure we've got enough people divided up. Ooh. One room more. I'm gonna move a couple people over to make sure that I've got kind of even number of people who can talk. Similar numbers of people. Okay, vale, bien. El botón de join. See, and I'll pop the questions into your rooms. Así. Vale, como 7 minutos, creo. I think about 7 minutes. Eso sí. Y hay muchísimas personas que están hablando. Perfecto. Y sí, tengo unos dibujos muy pequeños de micrófonos en la pantalla y puedo ver cuando cada persona está hablando. Y si veo que no hay nadie que, que esté hablando, entonces es mala cosa, pero todos están hablando. Es excelente. A ver, ¿cuánto tiempo nos queda? Tenemos como casi un minuto. Casi un minuto. Y voy a escribir un mensaje a todos en los grupos. Ustedes tienen un minuto más para practicar. Al grupo entero. Y aquí, vale, bueno. Entonces todos tienen un minuto más. Often you need about that 1 minute warning signal to kind of tie together the last loose ends and wrap things up in a way that makes sense. A ver. Bien, excelente. Vale, bueno. Y esperamos a los demás. We're waiting on the rest of everybody, but they'll be in
They got lost.
soon. They're still tying up loose ends.
You know, Marilyn, I keep on getting feedback though through.
I've been getting some feedback too. I'm hoping it's not me because I had some mic problems
mic
earlier.
issues.
but
Oh, it's not you, Marilyn.
I don't hear it
Marilyn?
now.
Teacher.
Nunca se
Was
sabe.
that
you
the
just-
feedback? That's like 3 classes in a row we've gotten that.
we have.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
trying to stay on mute in case it's my house.
Yeah, I
Mm.
tried the same thing and
I'll
it's
say, I
still,
don't know. Yeah, sometimes if there's some background noise on your end, that can happen. I do not know. Pero gracias. Y lo siento. Okay, vale. Bueno, ¿cuáles son sus ideas? What are your ideas on this? Any ideas you wanted to share or any things you need to tweak where you didn't quite get how to say something?
Yeah.
Federico, sí.
So I'll store the pain of the 483 mistakes I made and I'll
No.
Stop it.
on the few. One of the things I put on, it's easy to return something to Home Depot. Okay. And
Okay.
and the way I do this is to write a sentence without looking anything up, then go to Spanish Dick and get the correct version.
Okay.
And I used originally the word volver.
Devolver.
The corrected version was devolver.
Devolver. Sí.
So I have to use devolver instead of volver.
Devolver. Devolver is to return a thing. Volver es return to a place.
Oh.
Por ejemplo, vuelvo a Home Depot porque hay problemas en mi casa, hay problemas ¿con qué? La pintura, lo que, no sé, ¿ok? Pero tengo que devolver estos zapatos, no me quedan bien. I've got to return these shoes, they don't fit me well. So to return an item, a thing, whether somebody loaned it to you or whether you need to exchange it, that's devolver. Now, you can also say it as cambiar, because cambiar is to change. So if you mean to exchange something, some people do use cambiar, but to just return and then like get your money back, not exchange, but to return something is devolver. Eso sí.
Okay.
So if it's a thing, devolver.
Got it. Okay.
Tengo que devolver, sí, los zapatos. Tengo que devolver esta camiseta. Tengo que devolver este regalo. Es un regalo absurdo. Y no lo voy a usar nunca. Así que devuelvo este regalo. ¿Qué estaba pensando mi abuelita? Que no voy a usar esto. Así. ¿Bien?
See?
Vale. Bueno. So they were correcting and just feeding you a slightly different word. But notice it's based on that word that you had, volver. It's just got a tag on to it.
Well, thanks
Okay.
for kind. Okay. So another quick phrase. Spanish Dick, what I wanted to say is I don't look for sales, but sometimes I buy something on sale.
Aha.
So the corrected version was no busco rebajas. I used as a phrase, no encontró por rebajas. So did I miss a principle there? No encontró por rebajas.
Encontrar es find. No encuentro rebajas. I'm not finding any clearance items or sale items. Encuentro es find. No encuentro nada en oferta, que está en oferta. I'm not finding anything that's on sale. No encuentro nada que está en oferta.
So the real thing I missed was simply look versus find.
Look versus find. Buscar es look for. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
On the lookout.
But is the phrase no encontró por rebajas all right or not?
Skip the word por.
Okay.
No encuentro rebajas. I'm not finding any sales.
Okay.
That's
So-
finding. Buscar es look for.
Right, I got that. And it felt right for poor, but then something
No.
was wrong.
No por. No por. That one
Okay.
doesn't use a por. No.
Okay.
Some of these things, you know, that all these little words, the por, para, a, de, en, con, sin, all those little pesky prepositions can be very, very difficult, and especially because there are places where we use those kinds of words in English, but they won't necessarily be there in that same way, or maybe even be there at all in Spanish. Okay. So it's just something you have to get used to.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Bien. Sí, sí, Jan.
Just a general question. La Cuesta de Enero, the slope of January,
Eso sí.
that's a cultural thing, isn't it?
It's a
I mean,
very cultural thing. I've heard
Yeah,
people on both sides of the Atlantic use that.
because I'd never heard of it, and I looked it up, and one little thing said that there are usually price hikes in Spain in January, so governmental things, so everybody's bracing for that, and overspending at the but I'd never heard that term at all.
Cuesta is an uphill.
Yeah.
Uphill. And a lot of people feel this where they have it with enero because they have already gone through Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then a los Reyes Magos, the Three Kings thing, and it's been, gift party, gift party, gift party, gift party, and wallet's empty. It's like I've spent my budget. That's what La Cuesta de Enero. Sí, Karen.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true in Spain or Latin America as much as it is here, but in January we get hit with deductibles. That maybe you had a medical deductible or a prescription deductible that you satisfied sometime during the year, but in January they all start over.
Yeah,
So
anything that's a
you've got
new
that
price
extra
increase will
expense.
often kick in, like,
Yeah.
first part of the year. Yeah. But La Cuesta de Enero really kind of refers to the fact that it's an uphill slog when you've just spent every
All your
penny
money.
you've had to have a good time with your family.
Ah.
I've exceeded my holiday budget
Ah.
blues,
Ah.
but kind of magnified by just the enormity of how many family gatherings and gift giving opportunities come in those in that period of time. Bien. Okay. But you're right. Some of these things do tend to be cultural. Sí. Okay. ¿Hay otra pregunta o no? ¿No? ¿Nada? Bien.
No.
Okay. Vale. Adelante. ¿Qué te motiva? And I know we had one question which I'm going to address right up front. ¿Qué te motiva? That te motiva is like ¿qué te gusta?
Okay.
It is used like ¿qué te gusta? It's not equivalent in meaning to te gusta, but it is structured like te gusta. So, ¿qué te motiva? What motivates you? Just like ¿qué te gusta means what is pleasing to you. This is what motivates you. O, en otras palabras, en inglés, what gets you going, what keeps you going. Okay. What motivates you, ¿qué te motiva? Bien. Ok. Y aquí hay otras ideas. And we had somebody who had a question in the morning class. I'm going to take that one out because that might not come up. Y habla de aquí, ¿estás de acuerdo? Do you agree? ¿Estás de acuerdo con las personas en las entrevistas? There were a lot of common topics that came up with a lot of people because of the number of people they interviewed about, ¿qué te motiva? ¿Estás de acuerdo? ¿Cuándo te sientes a falta de motivación? When are you feeling that lack of the push? Yeah, lack of motivation. ¿Cómo mantienes la motivación cuando tienes un proyecto de largo plazo? Largo plazo es long term, ¿sí? Algo que dura mucho tiempo, ¿sí? ¿Te motivan más las cosas personales o las cosas materiales? ¿Sí? Muy bien. Y por fin, ¿qué te motiva cuando tienes que hacer algún trabajo desagradable? What motivates you when you've got some kind of nasty, disagreeable, unpleasant, desagradable, an unpleasant job. What motivates you when you have something unpleasant to do? Okay, bien, bien. Me imagino, I think you may need a little more than 7 minutes for this one.
Yeah.
Sí, bien, okay, más como 10. Okay, vale. Bien, bien, bien. And I'll put these in the breakout room. Y, uy, ¿dónde está mi botón de compartir? Aquí está. Share. Bien. Ok, vale. Voy a poner mi cronómetro en 10 minutos. Porque hay 2 preguntas más y la primera pregunta es fácil. ¿Estás de acuerdo? Do you agree? Sí. No. Sí, estoy de acuerdo. Sí, ellos tienen razón. They are right. Es todo eso. Pero 2, 3, 4 y 5, quizás hay más explicaciones, más detalles. Vale, a ver, ok. Estamos casi al fin. Nos quedan como casi 2 minutos. Ok, a ver. Un minuto más y van a regresar y comparar información importante, preguntas, todo eso. Vale, bueno, bienvenidas. Ok, hay 3 grupos que... aquí. Y aquí viene. Y bienvenida, Susana.
Sí, sí.
Pensaba que no iba a llegar. I thought you weren't going to be here. Es un
Sí.
placer. It is a pleasure to see you, though.
Yeah, let's see,
¿Cómo
she,
está tu suegra?
say, she fell and hit her head, say, I go,
Se cayó.
one staple, so.
Oh, your daughter?
No, my 97-year-old mother-in-law.
Wow, la
Oh,
suegra.
Yeah, yeah.
Sí.
She did, thank goodness, she didn't break anything.
No concussion.
CT was normal.
Oh,
And yeah, so it all worked out well. Yeah,
Me
thank you.
alegro. Me
Yeah,
alegro.
thank you.
Oh,
I'm
Sue,
happy.
who are we talking about?
Oh, my 97-year-old mother-in-law.
Oh,
La pobre suegra.
I
Oh.
know, and the poor thing, every time she falls backwards.
oh,
So she hits
Por
her head.
atrás.
Hits her head. Oh, huh.
But
Ay.
I tell you, I want to be her when I'm 97 because she forgets a lot of stuff now, especially her short-term memory is really bad, but she remembers. Now she was listing off phone numbers and patient numbers, and I'm just like, I can't barely remember my address.
Es una locura. No
So,
puedo. Cuando tenía 20 años, no podía recordar muchos
sí,
números de
sí,
teléfono.
sí,
Así
sí,
que
sí.
no hay esperanza para mí cuando tenga 97. Ok, vale, bueno, muy bien. Fíjense, la motivación general durante las entrevistas, la cosa más común es que, ¿qué te motiva a mi familia, mi esposo, mi esposa, sí, mis hijos? ¿Sí? ¿Qué te motiva? What motivates you? Sí, y creo que esto
Una
es
pregunta.
general importante. Sí, Susana.
I was, we were talking and I didn't from what I understood, you said te motiva is kind of like gustar.
Sí,
So when I wanted to say I am motivated by studying Spanish or something,
sí,
I thought estoy motivado, but if I follow you, then it would be te motiva instead of estoy
yeah.
motivado.
¿Qué
Me.
te motiva? What motivates you? You know, will not hear people, I think, saying estoy motivado, estoy
Okay.
motivada. You know, it motivates me. It's just one of those, yeah. And really, I don't think there was a one. Everybody was, you know, me motiva or me motivan. Okay, por ejemplo, las finanzas, las finances, las finanzas me motivan. It's
Sí,
like
okay,
gustan, right?
okay.
Sí, las finanzas me motivan. Okay, vale, sí,
Okay.
plural.
Gracias, gracias.
Sí,
That clears it up. Thank you.
el dinero me motiva. Sí, para mis hijos, sí, les motiva el dinero porque en sus carreras, sí, quieren ganar más dinero. Ok, vale, sí, eso es. ¿Bien?
Sí,
¿Mejor? ¿Better?
gracias, gracias.
Excelente, excelente. Bueno, ok, ¿hay algún comentario? Aquí, esta pregunta me interesa mucho. Me interesa exactamente cómo me motiva. ¿Qué te motiva cuando tienes que hacer algo desagradable? Cuando tengo un trabajo desagradable, me motiva a escuchar música. Escuchar música me motiva. O escuchar un podcast que es interesante, me motiva, ¿sí? Porque no me gusta para nada limpiar el baño, no me gusta para nada, no me gusta para nada trabajar con el carro cuando hay un problema con el carro o cuando tengo trabajo en el jardín. ah, ah, Así que sí, tengo que cortar un arbusto o algo así. Entonces sí, escuchar música sí me motiva. Es más agradable. ¿Qué creen ustedes?
I have a question. I
Sí, sí.
wanted to say, I tried to make the project fun. And for try to, I got intento. Yo intento hacer un proyecto divertido.
Sí,
That's how I would say it.
sí, intento es una manera de decir try to. Intento, bien. También trato de, try to. Hay dos palabras para try to, as
And
in
then
making the effort.
would it be like hacer, to do or to make? You'd
Sí.
use the exact same
Sí,
word?
sí,
Okay.
exacto, sí, sí, muy bien, muy bien. Sí, a veces es difícil hacer una tarea,
Yeah.
un evento divertido, ¿no? Es
Sí.
difícil, pero es buena idea. Alguien alguien me dijo en la clase de la mañana que ella intenta, ella intenta dividir un proyecto en pasos pequeños. Ella intenta dividir un trabajo, una tarea en pasos, steps, ¿sí? Pasos pequeños y por eso es más agradable, es mejor, ¿bien? Que también es buena idea. si puedes hacerlo. Muchas veces me falta motivación en enero, de verdad,
Ah,
en enero, porque después de los días feriados, ay, estoy cansada, estoy agobiada y es difícil encontrar la motivación. O, por ejemplo, durante el otoño, aquí en Arizona, tengo un app, ah, participo, yo personalmente participo en el reto de 100 millas, the 100 Mile Challenge, ¿sí?
Ujú, sí,
Los
sí, sí.
parques aquí en Maricopa tienen un reto, challenge, ¿sí? De andar 100 millas.
wow.
Y entre noviembre y el 1 de, pues sí, termina el 8 de febrero, entonces mañana, termina mañana. Y bueno, entonces todo el otoño y todo el invierno estoy
Caminando.
montando en bicicleta, sí. Y por fin, sí, tengo como 475 millas.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, mi esposo tiene como 650 millas
What, andando o bicicleta?
por bici. Por bici.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
bici.
sí, por
Okay.
bici, caminando, no,
Well,
no.
también puede, pero
No, pero andando es 100 millas.
sí, yo
En
sé.
bicicleta
Yes,
o montando a caballo es 200, ¿sí? Porque es más fácil que andar a
Sí,
pie. Que,
mi esposa se fue, como si se fue muchas veces esa.
sí. ¿Y cuál es el premio? What's the prize? Una
No me
camiseta.
recuerdo
Una
nomás.
camiseta.
Oh, okay.
Todo esto para una
Sí,
camiseta.
pues sí. That's
Pero,
right.
pero la idea es que después de hacer esfuerzos, ¿sí? En octubre, noviembre, diciembre, enero, todo de enero, estoy agobiada y ahora me falta motivación porque estoy cansada. Realmente. Ok, es así. Quizás con mejor tiempo, better weather, quizás con mejor tiempo. Sí, la temperatura me motiva. Eso, sí, la temperatura me motiva o no me motiva. Depende, ¿sí? En el verano no me motiva. Ahora sí, no, en verano no me gusta. Pero, bien. Bueno, ¿hay otras ideas que ustedes quieren compartir o no? Sí, bueno, Esteban. Oh, no podemos oír. No. Can anyone else hear him?
Sí, yeah.
Oh,
Not well.
someone will have to translate for me since I cannot hear him and I can't understand what he's saying.
Esteban, Marilyn can't hear you.
Oh, that's better. Be closer.
See,
Oop,
I can hear you. We hear
I
you.
can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
wow. Okay, I think I've got a bug.
I can say that in Spanish.
I think it's on purpose.
Yoko?
It's a propósito, on purpose, sí.
Marilyn, you can hear us, but you
I can
can't
hear you.
Okay.
No, Esteban.
I cannot hear him and I don't no entiendo por qué. Guy, ¿qué pasó?
Keep
That's
talking,
strange.
and we'll see if she can start hearing you.
Qué raro.
If somebody wants to write in the chat box or something to help me out, please do so. I'm not ignoring you, Esteban, para que sepas. Y
Tener una vida feliz
Tener una vida feliz.
Es lo que me vida.
Ah, tener una vida feliz es lo que te motiva.
Y en mi tercera edad. Esteban said it was like a saying about being retired at the third age, right?
Ah,
Esteban?
tercera edad. La tercera edad. Sí, 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 eso es, sí. Creo que sí. Y alguien en la entrevista habló bastante. Él nos dijo que acabo de jubilarme. I just retired. En la entrevista nos
Sí.
dijo, acabo de jubilarme. I just retired. Y hay que buscar algo, un proyecto, algo que va a ser un propósito, ¿sí? A purpose, ¿sí? Hay que tener un propósito en la vida. Después de la vida profesional. Y creo que es verdad, ¿no? Hay que tener un hobby, hay que tener algo de interés. Ok, así es. Bueno, a ver, quiero mostrarles, I want to show you something. We did not get to one video I wanted to do. Next week, la semana que viene, next week, we're going to do a little listening bit. I'm not going to give it to you for homework because you've got rather a long video for this week, but I do want to show you one thing we're going to actually start off class with. So what I want you to think of is this skill, which we'll be kind of working this in the coming week. Next week, you're going to see this video where they're going to take little tiny snippets of little dialogues. And you probably will next week need to have a little paper and pencil just to jot down one word ideas. So whenever in the dialogue they talk about like who, when, or how something is happening, right? When it's happening, or the basic activity that's happening, you'll want to just jot that down real fast, not write out whole sentences, but just one word ideas. It'll be a little listening drill to see how many of you can listen to a short conversation and then come back and answer some questions about what were they talking about. Okay. And so this drill next week, we're going to do some things with where they really mix up tenses, because this is what we do in speaking all the time in whatever language. So people are going to flip-flop between presente, mandato, present tense, some commands, some past. People will talk about, I did this over my weekend, so boy, next weekend, I feel like blah, 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 this other thing is going to happen. So just be prepared. You may want to have something to jot down some quick ideas based on what you hear them say, okay? Because that'll go a little bit quickly, but it's a good kind of quick train your ear drill. You're going to have a longer video where she's actually someone is going to be talking. It may feel a little fast. I desperately do not want you to translate the video I'm going to give you for your listening drill. It's going to be talking about 10 things that I never ate before until I lived in this country. That's the basic idea. And she's got some basic idea. She's got some very interesting observations about how like everyday life changed with her diet. And you're going to have some conversation questions to listen to. But when you, and I will have vocabulary set up, because there'll be a few words here and there that will be kind of key for you to know. But I don't want you flipping through dictionaries for them. I just want you to focus on the words I give you, and the rest of it should fall into place pretty well. So I want you to listen to the video and not look up words, but just use the words that I give you in the vocab segment, the file. And then we'll be using that as a basis for, again, some smaller, actually, we might do this as a big group conversation because I think it's going to lend itself to that kind of nicely. But some questions for you to think about before you come into class and maybe jot down a few notes for yourself. Okay, ¿sí? ¿Todo bien?
Okay.
¿Todo bien? But you are going to hear people more and more kind of mixing, flip-flopping between past and present. Yeah. In that. So, okay. Vale. Eso es. Eso es. ¿Hay alguna pregunta o no?
Not a question, but I just have a little announcement. This weekend is the 85th anniversary of the opening of the Botanical Garden. So they're just going to have some things going on. And on Monday, the admission is $8.50 because it's the 85th anniversary. But anyway, it just should be fun if it's not raining all the time.
Sí.
Is this the Botanical Gardens down south of Scottsdale?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on Galvin
Phoenix.
Parkway.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
south
Bill
of
Park.
McDowell.
Sí.
Next to the zoo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
just
no,
north of
next,
the zoo.
sí, next to the zoo area. Sí, sí. Eso es. Sí.
Great.
Sí, espero que no tengan que cancelar nada. Cancelaron el torneo de golf, ¿no?
Yeah.
Oh,
¿Cancelaron de todo?
Did they
I
cancel?
don't know. Well,
No.
they just stopped playing, I think at 11 or 12 or something.
Okay.
they've
Late
had,
morning.
in previous years, they've had frost issues and things like that, or
Es una
fog or
demora, it's a
something, so-
delay.
It's very wet. I
yeah,
guess.
I'm sure it's not.
Es-
And when is that game going on? What is that?
The Super Bowl?
Oh, that's it.
Ah,
But it's not here.
en Las
I
Vegas. ¿Está en
know.
Las Vegas?
Inside a stadium with a cover. I heard that.
El estadio es un estadio cubierto.
Cubierto.
And that's the best time to go out and go places because everybody will be in.
Right.
Go
Now,
Niners.
with that golf tournament, does anybody know, are they doing it next week? Because that means they block the streets up here.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it stops on
We're going
Sunday.
to try again
Yes.
tomorrow.
Stops, all right. All right.
Same
He's
day as the
off at
Super Bowl.
7 something. I heard that on the news tomorrow.
Vamos a ver.
Try. We'll
Yeah,
try.
'cause the streets
Vamos
are a
a-
mess. And regarding the Botanical Garden, if anyone has a library card, you can get culture passes.
Oh,
for
that's
free
right.
Entry. Yeah, best deal in town.
Okay.
What? How do you do that?
If you have
All
a
the
library
libraries.
card,
Yeah.
they have so many culture passes per library for things like the Botanical Garden, the Heard Museum, the Art Museum, and then several other things. These are just the three
Wow.
I tend to use. And
Is
you
that
can-
just the, because I know they have them, is that just the Phoenix Library? So, or is that Scottsdale?
Scottsdale?
It has
Scottsdale
to.
has it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
También.
Yeah, and you can get 2 passes a month, and each pass is for 2 people to whatever venue.
Hmm.
And if you call them up, they'll tell you, oh yeah, this pass will be available on Thursday. And, you know, it's the best deal in town. I mean, it's free.
Buen
Some of them go fast though.
Good advice.